What up, ghosties? So today we're going to see and talk about if ghosts are real or fake. We want to know your opinion. We're going to say ours and just comment down below if you guys think differently or if you agree with us. But we're going to make some points of why it's real and why it's fake. So let's get started.
Why it could be real or why it could be fake.
Yes. So
mostly going to be personal stories of like why we believe in it, stuff like that. Kind of also see the skeptic side of things, why it could be fake.
Yeah, so I want to mention we're actually really big skeptics, especially both of us.
I mean, I'm not that big of a skeptic. I know I've seen things. I know I've heard things that may have made me a believer, but there's also like I guess you'd say, the skeptic side of things. Like, okay, when you debunk something.
Yeah, like AC turned on and knocked the cup over.
Yeah, something like that. Or like a window rattling or, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's tons of things, I'm a huge skeptic, though, when it comes to certain aspects where I'm always trying to disprove stuff. And then in one of our recent videos, we captured that girl apparition.
We ran that footage by so many times trying to debunk it, and we could not. I know we saw some comments about like, it was always your flashlight moving and stuff like that. We ran through everything. And we kept in mind, there's no glass left in that house, so it wasn't reflection. The way the flashlights were pointed and the way, whatever it was, this demon girl, this figure that we saw, this apparition, the way it moved, it could not have been the flashlight. It was way too flowy. And even if it was a flashlight, the flashlights were on the whole time, and this thing literally just popped in. Like, I mean, I guess you could see, if it was someone turned a flashlight on and it hit the outside. But even then, all of our lights were currently on the entire video.
It was too flowy. It was too much movement going on with that dress or whatever gown that she was wearing. It was too much.
And the mind does play tricks on you. You stare into the dark too long, you will start seeing faces and stuff staring back at you. It's just how the mind works. Again, we ran through that footage. You can clearly see some kind of face in there. It just looks like a person. Like, it's got the body of a little girl. You can see it clearly.
And when we enhance the color, you actually can see a face for a good 1 second. You can see a face actually form. And, we aren't pro editors. We've been editing for 2 months now. Neither of us have gone to school.
Yeah.
Like, we just edit and cut and put music in. That's what we know how to do.
Yeah. I heard someone else say, or saw someone else say that it was like animated. Yeah, we don't know how to do that.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know what that is.
I mean, yeah, my wife knows how to do graphic design and stuff like that, but even she doesn't know how to animate.
But that's still it's still just pictures and like 3D graphics. It's not like actual like rotating designs like animated.
Yeah, exactly. Something that, somehow animate it behind the window, and I don't even begin to know how to do that.
I mean, there was no glass there anyways, but that's why like the whole reflection thing blew me away with the comments. But besides that, other things, that's just the girl we caught. But other things besides that, there's, things that bump in the night and things that are seen or heard by people or stories that you hear of. Some of them are a coincidence, but there's some things that are just really hard to believe that aren't real, especially with like when you have gone through certain experiences yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's so many situations that we've been in while we're on our investigations that when you hear a moan or a sound, you can crack it up to be a floor creak.
You instantly try to like logical, like rationalize what's going on around you, and sometimes that just doesn't work.
Yeah. We're in the middle of a desert or a freaking forest in a building that's been unoccupied for years, and we hear someone in the background say hello. That's audible. Like, that's just, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So another big thing, I've been seeing, you see those YouTube videos where people are like, oh, these items are fake, or this person, this is how I'm disproving them, by like the EMF or the REM pods and things like that not working, or like firing over electronics and things like that, which they do, you know, they definitely do. But, you know, if there's, say, magnetics in the earth and it has higher, like, levels of, like, a magnet rays in the air.
Waves.
Yeah. You know, it's going to have
frequencies.
Yeah. It's going to have a constant lit up at, like, 5 or 10. So that would be, like, your baseline, you know. But when you go to a house that's 100 years old, hasn't had electricity in it ever, like, not once. There's no light bulbs or fixtures or anything because it was made in 1870, you know. And these things light off. There's no explaining this, especially when you hit 4, you know, level 4, level 5. There's just nothing to say about that.
When you have a REM pod going off, you know.
Yeah, the REM pod, and REM pods don't go off for vibrations. A lot of people think that, but I've been on creaky floors and have stomped next to those things.
Yeah, walking around, you think walking around it would go off, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like ever.
No. And you have to get pretty damn... So, yeah, there's nothing you can really mess with. I mean, yeah, you can come up close to it, or maybe you could put a device in the area, but it has to be within, like, 3 feet.
You gotta be pretty dang close to it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of see in some of the videos, and you can see other people's videos too, you know, how close you have to get to the antenna for it to actually start going off.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I don't get that people disproving it. I get it, non-believers. I'm also technically, you know, I'm a big skeptic. And there's a lot of things that brush by me that happens that I just ignore. But, you know, there are certain things, you know, that you can say it's freaking schizo or you got mental issues.
Yeah.
But, you know...
I mean, I've always been a believer in you know, in some kind of... I don't want to say like alternate dimension or like some kind of dimension where these things are kind of coming through.
Yeah.
But I mean, like one of the biggest things is like, you know, go stare at yourself in the mirror for a while.
Yeah.
It'll start creeping you out.
Yeah. You
look into your own eyes in the mirror and it just starts bothering you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And, you know, mirrors are supposed to be like portals.
Right. You know. Yeah, and there's so much topic on the mirror thing too, and you know that's something that's hard to say. You know, that's still like a mental game thing. We're kind of looking in the dark and you'll see something.
Yeah, same thing.
You know, and you know that's not huge for me still, evidence wise, because I've never personally had really much happen with mirrors.
Yeah, I mean I know like with our black cat that we had, Vlad. He died in front of a mirror, and he's the only cat that's died in the house that we still see him. So
yeah. So this is what makes me not a skeptic. So here's some of our stories. So I have this story where I actually, me and my girlfriend were sitting in our room. It was early day, maybe like 5 or 4, and we were sitting and talking, and then we hear something in the closet start rattling. And we both just look up, like, stuck at it. And, at that point, we're just like, oh, what is that? That was weird. And we, keep looking it's almost like if we were drawn there. We keep looking.
But you first try to rationalize it,
exactly,
right? You first
exactly.
Okay, what's, something in the closet, fell down or something, or, is there a mouse in there or something?
Exactly.
Did something get locked in there?
Exactly. Over time, things like a book, if it's at an angle, 3 months later, all of a sudden it falls.
Yeah, exactly. It's just because of the natural vibrations in the earth, whatever.
Exactly.
Eventually, the house settling, the vibrations of that can knock something over.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. But, then out jumps this black cat with, backwards legs, white eyes. It lands on the ground. This makes me seem like I'm crazy, but I had a second witness, and this was years ago. This stuff doesn't happen all the time. This is one experience, one in a lifetime type of experiences, And we seen this cat, and it turned and looked at us, and then dashed down the hallway. And no, we were not doing drugs.
No drugs were involved.
Yes, but it was a game. It was crazy. Me and her were talking about that for years. To this day, that happened 10 years ago, 9 years ago, and it was a traumatic experience. It kind of made me be like, what was that? You know, if it's interdimensional, if it's a demon, you know, there's just some things you have to question. You know, there's just, you know, things out there, but you know, there's a lot of stuff that it disproves certain things. You know, there's like, you know, when you watch like those top 5s or top 10s, I watch those and like half those videos, I'm like, nah. I'm like, nah. I'm like, that was so planned and so fake. Like the ones where people are like, oh, the ground caught on fire. I'm like, they probably got some matchstick lights underneath the sand or the dirt that like auto start, you know, things like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, something, you know. I'm like, there's no way. And, you know, but then you get those other clips where you're like, how do you disprove this? Like, even if you're a non-believer, non-believers and skeptics to me are like two different things. Like, you can rationalize it and not believe it, which, you know, is like on the cusp of skeptic, you know, but like a non-believer is like, there's nothing.
They just ignore it.
Yeah, they just ignore it.
Like, they don't care. They just straight ignore it. They're just like, no, that's just not real.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Which blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, and like everybody says, like all these ghost channels you watch, they're always defending themselves. I'm like, they're like, oh no, this is like, dude, that we're telling the truth, like, or this is happening, this is what happened to us, this is what we experienced. And it blows me away that they have to defend themselves so much, because all these people that must be commenting, you know, if they were there in person, like it's a whole nother game, dude.
Yeah.
It's another level. You know.
Yeah, once you experience it for yourself, you know, it's yeah.
Yeah. It's overwhelming. It's a lot. Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes, you know, and that's another thing that disproves it. When we go to spots and nothing happens. Like literally nothing.
Yeah.
We're talking to ourselves for 5 hours in an empty house.
Yeah, basically.
You know. So you know, it's here and there, you know, it happens, it doesn't happen. But, you know, those people are skeptics, man.
Well, even when we catch, like, ghost orbs, our first thing that we say is, like, oh, is that a bug?
Or it's dust.
It's a bug or it's a dust.
Yeah.
And then you start looking at, like, how it's moving, and then you're like, dust doesn't really move that way.
Dust, why would it go down, up, then down again, you know?
Yeah.
And then speed off, like, triple times the speed to the right, you know? And you're like, that is weird, because you see dust.
Yeah, like, you do.
I wish I had a video, you know. If you had dust coming through a room, like if you hit a pillow and it's on camera, you see all this just straight.
And it looks so similar. Looks so similar.
Yeah, but it's always one direction. It's always straight or kind of floating off. It never, like...
And especially the ones that, like, when you catch an orb that's, like, this big on camera, but you can tell it's not in front of the camera lens. It's, like, behind one of us.
Right.
On the other side of the room, but it's, like, this freaking big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, that's what dust particle is, like,
4
inches big.
I think we would see that in person and be like, what the hell?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it sometimes it's just too much. You know, there's too much. But you know, there is a lot of fake stuff out there. I do believe that.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you know when we use our spirit talkers and Necrometer. Mm-hmm. Those are big ones. I was skeptic on for a while.
Necrometer. I'm still, even to this day, even though we do get really good responses. I'm still like, it's an app.
Yeah,
it's an app on a phone.
Yeah.
You know, like, how good is it really?
Yeah, but, you know, you think about that aspect. You know, phones are like $1,000, $1,500 these days.
I know.
And they have the IR, they have this, like, amplitude to, like, adjust movement.
I know.
Like, you know, technically the EMF readers and things we use are these cheaply made devices that cost, like, $1/4 of a phone. You know?
That's true.
You know?
Well, you know, you look into, like, one of the apps that I used to use was Ghost Tools or something like that.
Yeah.
Where you have to have like subscription for.
Yeah.
The big thing was it uses like the electrical current in the battery to pick up on like the atmospheric waves and stuff like that to see if it catches anything. And I'm like, and to me that's like, I don't know, I'm not very tech savvy, but like to me that's still like how.
Yeah.
You know? So like I don't, even with like Necrometer.
Well, that's what they do too. They catch like sound waves or like a magnetic waves through the air, and they sense changes or whatever.
Yeah,
and that's how words.
But I guess too, you could like I'm not 1,000% on how it works, but I mean, you could even say it's almost like using the phone itself, because that's technically what a phone does. It catches the when you dial a number and you talk to somebody, it's catching the waves through the air
hundreds of miles away.
Hundreds of miles away, yeah.
It's using towers.
It's using towers, yeah.
Yeah, but it's sending those from the tower, that signal to your phone for you to be able to hear that person.
Yeah.
So,
Which is insane.
Well, it is. Yeah.
Technology.
Whoa.
So, I mean, I guess you could say it's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
When you catch a word on Necrometer or a sentence.
Yeah, see, and there's some things, we get that collate too good. It's too good sometimes.
Yeah. Like with our most recent one, why would it say dance twice? Like, why would we go to one location and say dance after I did the protections stave on you, and then...
So, yeah, a little word on this. We got some negative comments on this. It was really funny. They were making fun of us. They're like, oh, dance, cue intense music. And I reacted to that because it just said brother before that and dance. And we had a physical voice last investigation that said rock brother. And then we also, as soon as he does this, was it ritual dance for protection?
Yeah, basically.
It pops up on the device as dance right after we're spinning around and like kind of doing a dance. And then I asked it, are you from the Ouija session? After it said brother, and it came up and said dance, that's why I reacted like that, because it freaked me out, because it was like, the last session, dude. Like,
exactly.
I'm like, that's crazy.
Like, why would it say that?
Yeah. Yeah, the timing, and, when you don't ever get words, and each place has its own, own language, own. I mean, you could people speak
in the skeptic mind. You could say, "Oh, well, it saves the words that it's used before, and it's just it's spitballing them back out again."
Yeah,
but again, the timing of things.
Yeah, it's all about the timing. That's the big thing. Like, even if it did save words, if it. Like, you talk about and ask it, and then it mentions something from that certain moment. I don't think they're that good yet.
Yeah.
I just don't think they are. And that's another thing, man. It's just, sometimes they're too good. But sometimes, we'll go to a session, and we're there all night, and we get nothing. These days, since we started using the Ouija, though... It seems like our devices are going off way more than they used to.
Yeah, we're stupid. we let things into our lives to capture and get on video.
Yeah. Hey, we don't let them in.
Yeah, we don't let them in.
Yeah, we don't let them in.
We do protect ourselves. We do.
Yeah.
We're not going. Contrary to popular belief, we're not going into things blind.
Yeah.
I kind of know what I'm doing as far as protection and stuff. My wife especially knows what she's doing.
Yeah, we do cleansings.
Yeah,
we make sure we're protected.
So what story do you want from my experience with the paranormal?
Let's hear one that makes you believe.
That made me believe.
That made you believe. Yeah,
absolutely made me believe.
Yeah.
A lot of minor things. From seeing a black dog when I was a kid that follows me everywhere, which I've not seen him in 7 years.
It's because, when you become an adult, you get ignorant to things.
Yeah.
You just stop seeing stuff, you stop believing, and you kind of block everything out.
Yeah. The big one, the biggest thing that happened to me would be the time traveling one.
Oh yeah. You told me about that. That's a crazy story.
Yeah. So basically, I don't want to drag it on forever, but
right.
I was coming home one night when I lived in Tennessee, and there's two turns before you, or there's a turn before you get to the turn where I lived at, and I was coming around the corner and I saw the turn. It was late at night, and I saw the first turn. I'm like, okay, how my mind works. Okay, I skip that turn, go to the next turn, and I'm on my road. Well, the next turn was up, and I turned down that road, but it wasn't the turn to get to my house that I lived at the time. And the asphalt, this is way back out in the woods. This is in the middle of freaking nowhere. It was I had just gotten off work. I think it was 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm going down this road, and the asphalt's turned into dirt all of a sudden. and there were no street lights. There were nothing. My headlights captured, overgrown fields, these old school wooden fences, and these really old timey houses that all had lanterns hanging from them. And I didn't know where the hell I was. But there were no cars. There were just you could see horse buggies sitting in near people's houses, or you see the barns that were in the back. And it's like I literally been transported to 1850.
Yeah,
it was crazy. I had never seen this road before, and I turned around at somewhere. I never saw anybody.
So when you got to the end, though, you were saying it was pitch black. Or something.
Yeah, at the very end of this road that just stopped, it was just the road kept going, but near the end, after it passed all these houses, it was just pitch black.
Yeah.
So I decided I'm not going to go any further. My headlights are not penetrating this darkness that's in front of me. So I did a 180 real quick and pulled out and went up, and then my turn was there, and I know what's on that first road. It's a bunch of modern day houses. The very first road that I passed to get to my house. Right. It's a bunch of modern houses. It's a cul-de-sac. But I went back the next day, and that road was no longer there.
Yeah.
It was non-existent. It was just woods.
Yeah.
So
see, and that's why I'm wondering if you went in a time loop, some type of dimensional plane where you took this road, and even if you go to a museum area, an old ghost town, they're not hanging lanterns off the front of the doors.
They will to make it authentic, but you'll see signs hey, come experience, or some kind of thing hey, this is camp. Right, whatever. Right. You'll see some kind of sign that says, whatever. But the fact that this third road popped up in between mine and the other one, and because I thought that was my turn.
Because it was after the first one.
Yeah, after the first one.
Yeah.
And the fact that the next day during the daytime that road was not there.
Oh yeah.
At all.
Yeah, that's a trippy story.
It's very trippy.
It
still freaks me out sometimes.
Being transported like that.
Yeah.
If you went into that black road, what would have happened?
Oh yeah, I might have came out.
Yeah, would you been stuck there?
Yeah.
Those stories about people disappearing, dude.
Yeah.
And
that's definitely the areas. Like I said, this is in the middle of literally nothing. This is literally an hour away from civilization.
Yeah, that's trippy, man.
Yeah, I could have been gone. I could not be sitting here today.
Yeah. You got yourself an 1850s wife.
Yeah, right. I was in the middle of nowhere. With an 1850s wife. I got 6 kids. I wonder how the hell did this happen?
You're not, bro. You're tattooed up. A freaking witch.
Right? They would have killed me on the spot. He's got these strange markings on his body. And not just that, they would have saw the vehicle and been what the hell? What kind of horseless carriage is? It was super trippy, super scary.
Yeah, that's pretty good story. Yeah,
that's when I first I started fucking doing research and stuff on time travel and time loops and hearing about other people's stories who'd walked into a building and the next thing I know they were in the 1700s for some reason.
Yeah, Yeah, that stuff's crazy, man. It's just you don't know until you experience stuff,
Yeah.
And that's the big thing with a lot of skeptics these days. I think they're going to work every day. They're taking care of their families, and they don't do anything else.
And the other side calls out to whoever it wants to call out to.
Right.
Not everybody is going to experience any kind of paranormal stuff in their lifetime.
Right.
I think it's called out to me and you. I said even when I was a kid, seeing the black dog that followed me everywhere.
Right.
To being in my bedroom, which is this one's another weird one for me, but you boil it down to it being just the land around my parents' house.
Yeah.
Growing up, because it was a brand new house when they bought it.
Yeah.
And seeing figures inside my closet, and you could chalk it up to being a little kid, but I was almost a teenager at this point.
Yeah.
When my parents got that house. So, and seeing apparitions, seeing my closet door open and close by itself, hear people walking up and down the hallway when it's just me by myself. My parents are in town. you know, or seeing the red eyes coming from my closet.
Yeah.
You know, that's insane. It's intense. Right. It's some crazy stuff to see at a young age, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then see, you know, in like a big one that we've experienced in person was 21st Street Pond.
Oh yeah, with me and Michael.
Yeah. Before I don't think we even.
I really think that, you know, we had talked about doing this channel.
Yeah.
In the past, and then we kind of started experimenting on like what we wanted to do and stuff like that, and then we went to 21st Street Pond the second time. The second time
because it was me and you the first time.
Nothing really happened with me and you, and then we brought Michael along, and like me and Michael seeing that dude walk out of the woods and just like disappear.
Well, dude, and the boots, it was like a military dude. Yeah. Yeah, literally. You hear the branches just snap.
Yeah, like this dude, like whatever this was like coming after me and Michael.
It was like 6 feet away from us, maybe 10 feet max.
Yeah,
and we had flashlights. We were shining right where the freaking light came, or where the sound came from. Nobody was there, dude.
Yeah, and then seeing that black apparated figure like running towards me and Michael, coming out from the woods, and like it freaked me and Michael out. Yeah. And I think that is when we decided, like, okay, we are actually going to start, like, this is what we want to do.
I think that's when everything started getting worse for kind of both of us.
Yeah, because we started having stuff happen in our house. And stuff.
Exactly. And on the way up from this, after this happened, because Michael got scared, he's kind of like our scaredy cat of the group, you know. And he was like, "I want to go." He's like, "We should go." And on the way up to this trail, getting back to the car, we were constantly like in the snow, just constant footsteps all the way back up to the car.
Well, it's like, you know,
and then the car didn't start. I was like, what the heck, dude?
Yeah, the car didn't start for a minute. We're like, what the hell?
And then all the lights started like flashing when we did turn it on.
Oh yeah,
which was trippy, dude. I was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, well, I've told you, like when you go there at 21st Street Pond at nighttime and you come around that bend next to the highway. You're constantly looking over your shoulder. You feel like something is staring at you and following you, like creeping up behind you.
Yeah.
Constantly. It's only when you're by yourself, though.
Yeah. I mean, when we went with Michael, it felt like someone was
following us. That's true. Well, whatever it was, whatever that black apparition that we saw that was coming after us, I think that followed us.
Yeah, because so shortly after, this was like 3 days after, he had a wooden sign on his wall. And he calls me over.
It's like a little Halloween sign.
Yeah, like a little Halloween sign on the back of his sink. He calls me over and was like, bro, this dude, it was freaking rocking back and forth. And then he like shows me, we stop it, and we go in the living room, and he's like, guess what else happened? And we hear like literally scraping after we just left where the plank was.
Yeah, we went back in the kitchen.
It's freaking just rocking back and forth, dude.
And then, like, one of the other things was, like, my wife has an authentic voodoo doll from New Orleans. It was made by a voodoo priestess. And one of the things was, like, we've never had any kind of issue with it. It's supposed to bring, like, good luck and stuff like that. And so that's why it's in our house. And a couple days after all this stuff started happening,
21st Street, man.
After 21st Street.
Yeah.
I literally was sitting on a shelf, and we were kind of like redecorating the living room, and I had moved it to another spot, and I guess it got angry because like Ron was there, and
so you were saying stuff was happening before I got there.
That's right.
You moved it before I got there.
Yeah, I had moved it, and stuff started happening, and then when I sat on the shelf, I had this glass skull bottle.
So this is when I was here now.
Yeah. He came over. Yeah. Because I called you. I was like, dude, there's like stuff happening in my house right now. Yeah. And we were standing in the living room, and this glass bottle was sitting next to the voodoo doll.
This thing's huge. It's one of those like skull liquor bottle things. It's heavy, dude. It's like 5 pounds, 4 pounds. It's heavy.
And it's thick glass. You heard that, right?
Yeah, the curtain moved, too.
Yeah, I saw that. See?
Okay, see, yeah. This stuff happens to us because we get involved in these things, you know?
So, anyways, we're standing there in the living room, and we're discussing the things that are kind of going on in my house. And the next thing you know, this bottle just gets thrown at us. It flies across the room.
So I was like laughing, like to play off the scariness of this. But so his wife has these witch books, and they're like thin, right? And there's about 3 books. So not just the glass flies off, these books fly off, and this glass bottle like flies like 5 feet, dude. So this is like...
It was more than that. It like came out. It came off the shelf and bounced across the floor.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. It's like 7 pounds of stuff just thrown. And, you know, the skeptic I am, I was like, hold on a second.
The books fell over.
I was like, the books pushed the glass off. But if it pushed the glass off, it would have fell straight down off of the thing.
No, if the books had fell over, it would have went off the side.
Yeah.
It came off forward.
Yeah.
And it was the books, the voodoo doll, and then the glass thing.
Yeah.
You know, and the books kind of fell over a little bit. The voodoo doll was fine, but this thing went off. Like the...
Well, the book still flew like 3 feet.
Yeah, true.
The book still flew like... So I tested the book thing. I was like, okay, so they fell off, all 3 of them. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to ruin your books for a second. And I was like, what happens if it falls off? And it literally flipped on the edge, flipped over, and fell straight down flat. Like, these books were like... Like, literally, like... And, like, flew off the edge, dude. And that was right after. That was the first time I had physical scene in front of my eyes. Mm-hmm. Which I've had like stuff like thrown, but it was like in the background where like I seen it afterwards.
Yeah,
you know,
see it, yeah,
exactly. That was like straight. Like we were staring at it, talking about it, and it was like pissed. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think 21st Street Pond was like, okay, we're doing this.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, that's what kind of hooked us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's about finding the truth. You know, are there spirits? Maybe not. You know, is it just demons,
or is it just energies?
Maybe,
you know, just some.
Yeah, I believe in residual energies.
Yeah, of course.
You know, where people like, if you walk up a staircase like over and over and over, it's your daily task you do every day, and then like the same motion happens when you're not doing it. Yeah. It's almost like, was that your energy just like built up, and that was actually your energy walking up those stairs? You know, so you know, there's so much to it. There's so much to it. You know, on both sides, if it's real or if it's fake. You know, and there's a lot of stories out there I 100% believe that are fake. You know, there's some things out there where I'm like, nah. Like,
I'm not a huge believer in like cryptids. Because, I don't know, I feel like we'd have proof. As many cryptids as... Have you ever seen the list of cryptids?
Yeah, there's
It's insanely long.
Yeah, it's huge.
And even the major ones, like the Mothman of, like, West Virginia, and, like, you know, the Yeti, and Sasquatch, you know, and how many years have people been after Sasquatch? Right. That's been an ongoing investigation since, like, the 60s.
Yeah.
Like, as far as I know. I mean, there's been so many TV shows. I feel like at some point... we would have found him by now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There would have been definite proof. Like, hey, we have this 9-foot tall gorilla man.
When it's like, you know, it's like we shoot in 4K right now these days. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't understand the videos. Like you get a video that'll come out 2022 and you're like, you know, you're like, why does this look like we've talked about this? Like it's from 2010. Like or someone's on their freaking camera phone in 480 or 360p.
Like someone recorded on their old school like flip phone or something. Like why? Why is your video that bad?
Yeah. And
it's always those videos that catch something.
I know.
Always.
Yeah, it's so pixelated. You know, it's crazy, man. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Like because these days everybody owns an iPhone. Everybody owns a Samsung Galaxy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like...
I mean, even the cheaper phones, like the Samsung A70, the A50, or something like that.
The 15 and the A40.
Yeah, even those still have decent enough quality that you should be able to make out.
They're still recording 1080p.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then it's always like the ones that like some of the ones you see on top 5 or top 10, like that, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
like the nukes and stuff.
Yeah.
That come out super crispy clean.
Yeah.
But you kind of look at it, especially when you see like a figure or like this creature like look around the corner or something. Yeah. You're like, oh man, that's so fake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you just like tell by the quality of it, like, oh, that's so fake.
Well, and the ones that are 4K where like a girl's head pops out of the attic or something.
Oh yeah.
They're like half their hair's gone or they look like fucking all demon and demented. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like I don't know. I'm like, that looks like a makeup job to me.
Yeah.
But, who knows?
Yeah, we weren't there. We didn't experience it.
Yeah.
We're not the ones who, planned it if it was fake or whatever.
Yeah.
Or just happened to catch that,
Right. If I witnessed something that physical in person, I'd probably scream.
Oh,
like
probably.
a girl.
Probably. Probably. Because I think with an apparition like that no longer becomes like a mental threat. That's more like a mental and physical threat.
It's definitely physical.
I think it'd probably attack you.
Yeah, exactly. And I would portray that as not paranormal at all. I would put that in the place of cryptids.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like of being some type of hybrid thing going on, That's, there's not many physical demon things that anybody's ever seen or talked about,
Yeah.
It's usually shadowy, figurey, kind of see-through. Or if it is solid, that's the main one people see. They'll see like a solid girl. Like that one with the neck bent, and she was like bleeding out her eyes and crap. Yeah. And then no one could find her. And that was like a physical girl. So I'm sure there's apparitions out there that just like
build up enough energy over time. They just
straight look like skin. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just straight.
Well, it's like the location we were talking about that one day with the little girl who everyone when they see her, they see a little girl who needs help. And her skin's blue, and she looks like she's dripping wet. And apparently, her apparition is so strong that she literally people think they're literally talking to like a real girl.
So this is a location we're going to soon to see if we can witness this physical little girl. Like there was over 15 stories of people seeing this little girl at this hidden lake. This thing's hidden.
Yeah, it's way up in the mountains.
Yeah, it's hard to get to. And there's actual death records of this little girl.
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
There are.
So it's going to be an exciting episode. That's probably not going to be for 5 more episodes from now, though.
Something like that, yeah. Once, especially with a location like that, in the area that we live in, it's hard to get to places sometimes because of the snow and the weather.
Yeah.
And we don't exactly have camping equipment. I mean, we do. But we don't want to camp.
Not for outside.
Yeah. Not for on the side of the road somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have camping equipment in the woods or something. Yeah. But not on the side of the road.
No. Yeah. So there's some good ones out there, and all of them are stories. But to the skeptics out there, if they are just stories, they're still fun. They're still entertaining.
Oh, yeah, they're still fun.
They're thrilling. They're great to hear, and. You could believe or not believe. And half of them I would say I don't believe. But, the more we're getting into this, like that girl. I want to mention that girl I brought up in the beginning of this video. Because I was editing this video, and my girlfriend seen it. And she started bawling her eyes out. That's what I mean. When you have a side person witness something while you're just chilling, watching the video, getting ready to edit, because I was going through the footage, as in just watching it to make sure what sounds we got, what things we caught, just to see if we caught anything, if we did or not. And when that thing appeared and swooped away, it was traumatic, bro. We went to hit this guy's house and we're like, you have to come to my house right now.
They dragged me over here.
Yeah, and see this, him and his wife. And I was like, this is insane, and we've already gotten probably 10 comments on that video about
how fake it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not.
I mean, you can believe what you want.
Like I said at the beginning of this video, like we said, we tried so hard to disprove it.
I know.
We've tried so hard. We watched it so many times.
But yeah.
And you're talking about when people tell you stories about I've been to this place and seen this happen, and for you don't believe it, but for me it's I want to go see it for myself.
Right.
I want to see what you're seeing. You know? And that's just that's kind of like the skeptic and the investigator side.
Right.
It's I want to see if what you're seeing is real. Exactly. Or if I can disprove it.
Exactly. So, I want to mention, you guys, if you guys have stories or you want to tell us something or you have a good story, maybe our next little podcast session we'll mention you and we'll bring you guys up and in your comment down below about your story, your situation, and you know, how you feel about our Demon Girl video, or we posted it up as a short as well. If you guys have seen that, you know, just let us know, because we want to hear people's stories, because we love them.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
It entertains us, and it's a good time, especially to hear what other people have experienced. You know, it's like so many people have experienced something. You know.
Yeah, I mean, this is. Like, again, go back to 21st Street Pond. This is like, when that happened, it's like, this is what we want to do.
Yeah.
Like, that was like the breaking point for us. Besides, you know, from talking about it, to going and trying a few things out, and then seeing like actual, like, you know, catching something like that.
Yeah.
And that was like, okay, this is it. This is what we want to do. We want to bring like this shit to the world. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and we have a different attraction. Like, we watch guys on YouTube, you know, and I think we can say their names. So, like, you know, you see Mindseed, right? You know, Mindseed is insane.
Love those guys.
Yeah, I love them. I think they're so truthful, just personality-wise. A lot of people don't believe them, and they're the ones who are always like, oh, you can believe what you want. They're always defending themselves. I don't understand why, but I do get it, because
being an investigator now, it's like, okay, now you know, you kind of get a few comments where you're like, okay, we don't have to defend ourselves. You believe what you want to believe.
Yeah.
But for us, this is real.
Yeah, this is what we experience. We're just telling you our story.
Yeah, exactly. Know? You're just seeing what we're experiencing in real time.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got people like Twin, who, you know, everybody loves Twin, everybody loves Mindseed, who catch these things vocally. They get a lot of good words in talking. They don't catch much physical anything. And they do get sounds and knocks and walking. They do get...
Which is still phenomenal.
It is.
It's still awesome.
You know, but like, we just had this attraction. When we started and when that 21st Street thing happened, I already knew that we would get more than a lot of other investigators, because we just have the personality where it almost attracts them. Yeah. And that they're willing to show themselves to us.
Yeah. Well, it kind of goes back to what I was saying, is like, it depends on who the other side decides to show themselves to. That's how I feel about it anyways, because, again, people go through their whole lives and never witness anything.
I know, that blows me away too.
They never witness or see or hear anything. It's either they're oblivious to it, or it's just not being shown to them.
Yeah. You know, but that's just, they could just be closed off, and nothing just opens up to them. You know, and that's why I think about when it comes to Twin, you know, how they don't catch more for the locations they go to.
Oh yeah.
And I think it is just personality or who we are, because I know for a fact we're going to be like in between them, where we're catching stuff that, like that girl, man.
I know.
That's people who've been doing it for years.
I know. And we got that like
2 months.
Yeah.
We've been investigating for 2 months.
I mean, technically, we've been doing it for a year.
A year.
A year in February, or maybe in March.
February, March.
We've been doing it for a year, and off camera, we've been kind of going to certain places and checking things out. Yeah. And even right off the bat, things have been intense. Yeah. And like I said, you know, we discussed about having a channel and doing things, but 21st was the breaking point. Yeah. And, you know, since we have been cameraing, we can catch these angles and things we didn't see before, you know? Yeah, and we're like, oh, crap, there's this huge thing, or, you know, the girl. Yeah. And it's mind-blowing, dude. It's a crazy experience. We didn't see that girl there. And we actually had a Pumpkin cameraing for this episode. Oh, yeah.
And she was looking literally directly at Chris, and like in between Raven in that window, dude.
And
she never mentioned it.
I know, and she looked right at it, and it is so crazy too when you catch stuff like that. I wanted to point this out. It's like right time. Yeah. Right place, right time. Yeah. Because she just happened to be looking at me and then look this way and pan to you guys. Yeah. And it just happened that apparition, you know, whatever it was, it just decided right then to be like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, like boom, camera's my way, happened to show itself, done. Never happened again.
It always seems like whenever you watch, like you talking about, like, brought up Mindseed, like their episode with the girl on the lake. Yeah. Love that episode. Absolutely blew me away. Yeah. They just happen to have the camera facing the right time, right place. Yeah. And seeing that girl pop her head up. Yeah. And it's amazing.
Yeah. it's right time.
Yeah.
You just don't catch stuff like that. You know, that's why you see only a limit of these videos online where, like, you know, it's top 10, they've been doing them for years, but the ones that you think they're actually real, there's only a few, you know, where you actually see apparitions, you know?
Or you hear things like, was like, one of the ones that we watched where the dude was in the woods by himself near the burial grounds.
Oh, yeah.
And he was hearing, like, chanting in the back.
Yeah, like some native stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like, how do you disprove that?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
you could say there's a group of people in the pitch black dark, like 30 feet away from him. Sure.
Or he had a second phone that he was using to play some music, or you know.
Yeah, but it wouldn't come in like that.
Unless he put it in the woods somewhere, and
maybe.
But even then, though, like, why would you do that?
Yeah, that's just a douche move.
Yeah, honestly.
You know, and that's what we don't. We just film.
Yeah.
If we catch something, we catch something, you know?
Yeah.
And, I've never even thought about, like, faking something, I guess I would say.
Yeah, no.
Like, you know?
I don't have the energy to do that.
Yeah, I'm too lazy. I just want to record and hopefully we catch something or not.
I just want to, exactly. I want to record and talk to the other side, and, I don't have time to be thinking up fucking...
Yeah.
Ways to trip people out.
Yeah. It might not get us as big as fast as we want, but you know.
But that's the thing.
But that's us being truthful, you know.
Yeah, you want to be truthful.
Well, there's that one dude that's all over that just popped up like a year ago, and like every one of his videos, a door slams on him, like he gets tossed from his bed, like every video, and like a lot of the side things before he's going in, he's like laughing and like thinks it's funny, and I'm like, no way, bro.
I mean, you can put that off his nerves. Some people just laugh when they get super nervous.
I mean, I do, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know. I get that part, but like every location you go to, doors are slamming, you're getting pulled from beds. That's like, no way it's every location, you know? I mean, unless you have some crazy demon attached to you and he just likes to screw with you everywhere you go.
Exactly.
You know, but I just doubt it. You know? Like, he's one of the ones that kind of give investigators a bad name, you know, to me. I forget his name. It's like Jackal or...
I would love to like have a video with the guy. Like, get him on our channel. Let's like have a video and see if that's actually happening to him.
Yeah, right.
Or something, you know.
Right. Get another person. He does solo. All of his stuff was solo.
I know.
You know.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
Me neither. He's a new guy. He like popped up and went to like more subscribers than mine see within like a year, and it's because he's like this young cat that freaking gets this crazy stuff right off the bat. You know?
And he's either got some crazy attachment or it's fake.
Yeah. You know?
Because even with us seeing like the demon girl, we haven't really been physically hurt yet.
No.
Not yet.
No.
We've kind of felt a few times that we had like maybe some scratches or something, or...
Oh, Benson, I got poked.
Yeah, well, Benson, you got poked.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. And I had the feeling on the back of my neck like someone was like playing with my neck.
Hair. Yeah.
But nothing like super intense.
It wasn't like harmful. Like the poke to me was like, hey, you know.
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was at your waist, it was on like a kid.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you got kids come up to you and, you know, they poke you.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I need your attention, you know?
Right.
But nothing like super serious. You know, we haven't been pushed yet. None of us been like dragged or like straight our hair yanked or anything.
Yeah, no scratches at all.
Yeah, I mean, Pumpkin had the thing grab her leg.
And she did have 3 marks on her leg. But, you know, this is to the skeptic side coming in. She did it with crisscross applesauce.
Yeah, on the floor. The floor indent on her pants.
Perfectly in 3 lines, you know?
Yeah.
It could have happened. It's just a coincidence. It's weird.
Yeah, it was only on that leg, too.
Exactly.
But how do you explain, like, whatever it was pulling her pants down? Because you could see, like, the bottom of her pants were starting to wrinkle.
Crunch up.
From being pulled down. Yeah,
on camera I was catching that because it started out as, like, 1.5, and then it, like, went to 3.
Yeah.
Like, something was pulling down, and she was even saying something was pulling on my leg.
Yeah.
You know, I know. You know, it's still like that, you know, oh, maybe it's something else because I didn't experience it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like when you don't experience it, you're still kind of like, nah, you know.
Yeah, like nah. That happened in front of me. Nah.
yeah, nah. You know, but you know, it's just there's something else out there, you know. And whatever it is, people think it's spirits, entities, elementals, demons, whatever it is. You know, it could be their stories like the whole interdimensional alien thing. It could be an alien on another dimension messing with us. Who knows? You know,
there's a lot of theories out there.
There's so many theories.
I think you just have to like pick one that you really believe in and go for it.
Right.
You know, if you believe in that kind of stuff at all.
Yeah. And you know, it just stuff happens, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing really to deny about it, but
so. For the end of the video, let me ask the big question, right?
Okay.
For you, real or fake?
Paranormal world?
Paranormal world. Of the other side, ghost, real or fake for you?
I think a lot of videos I see are fake.
That's not what I'm asking though. Like for you personally, like when you are experiencing
when
stuff.
I experience stuff, I think it's completely real. There's no way to wash away. There's no ways to like stack up what those sounds were. Why are we hearing laughing in the middle of a forest? Why are we hearing someone saying, "Help me physically operate next to my freaking ear"? You know, and you know you could play it off as all of us are crazy. But when 5 people hear it, 3 people hear it all at once.
Yeah,
it's hard
all
to deny.
3 different, and it's like you gotta think all 3 different state of minds.
Yeah,
no mind is alike. I mean, you know,
right. And that's to me, it's real. You know, when I experience it, it's real to me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why if we get up there and investigations happen, we could bring people along. I would love to prove it.
Oh,
you know?
I would love to.
Especially the skeptics who like to dog on other channels. I would love to bring one of them.
Oh,
you know,
100%. For me, 100% real. 100%. I've had too many like real life experiences, anything from minor to major, to try to ignore it.
Yeah.
You know, to sit there and say, after all this stuff that's happened to me, to sit there and say, no, it's fake, would be like, I'd be such a hypocrite for me. Now, other people, like you were saying, I'm still, you know, obviously the skeptic's kind of like, okay, are you telling the truth or are you not?
Right.
You know what I mean? I want to go experience it for myself.
Yeah.
To see if I see it.
Right.
But for me, 100% real.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, you guys, once again, to the second, but thanks for watching, and please comment, like, and subscribe. Ghost, get us out.